You can get this when we're done, if you'd like a copy of it. I hope you've been getting my other copies.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Terrific. Okay, so I looked at my notes and it says that we've covered a lot. What we haven't covered yet is inventory and then and commissions. So that's what we're going to cover today, inventory and commissions. And then if you'd like, I'll just open it up to general questions. And of course, as we're going through inventory and commissions, please feel free to interrupt me with any questions that you might have. Okay, so inventory. The inventory system itself is very powerful. I'm not going to teach you how to set up inventory right now. Because that's something that you're taught when you get the software. Right now, what I want you to understand is what it does. So there's two different areas for inventory. There's this big inventory button here, and then there's this little inventory line right here, text. If I click here, I can see products, I can add, modify, delete, merge, transfer between locations if I have multiple locations, things like that. All products allows me to see every product I have in the system. If I go to indexes, I can add vendors, manufacturers, categories. I can even set retail prices. So let's say, for instance, that I have a line, a manufacturer that's raised their prices. I can go into each individual product and change its price, or I could simply say, for this manufacturer or for this vendor, I want to raise all my prices by 5%. And boom, it'll change every price by 5% for that particular vendor or manufacturer, depending on what you choose. So you can do things like that. Purchase orders. You can create purchase orders. You can receive those orders. And when you receive an order that you've created in the software, those boxes come in. You can accept that, and it will automatically update all of your quantities. In salon or spa use shows you what you're actually physically using professional-wise. Labels allow you to create your own labels for products. So you may have a product that doesn't have a barcode on it, but you want to use a barcode scanner. So you can create your own labels with barcodes that you can then put on your products with simple Avery labels or something like that. So you can, in fact, use a barcode even with products that don't already come with their own barcodes. Of course, you can do your physical counts. The software will tell you what it believes you have. You do your actual count, and then you can upload batches of those numbers. So you can say, okay, I've got 12 of this, 5 of this, 17 of these, 8 of these, etc. And after you plug all of them in, after you've done your physical count, you just hit accept and it'll update your quantities appropriately. So little things like that that you can do throughout. The inventory portion of the software was created as its own standalone software. And what I mean by that is there are softwares out there that are just retail only, and they don't deal with appointment books, right? It's just a retail software. And that's exactly what this was. And it was integrated into our software. So it is as powerful as if you were using a standalone retail system. So it's a very, very robust inventory system. Now, of course, once your products are in, then in the point of sale, you're able to sell a product. So I could choose a customer, for instance, and then I can scan a product, say who gets the commission on it, and it'll put in my product for me. What if I don't have a scanner? I can pull up a client and I can hit retail, and I can look a product up by SKU, by UPC, by vendor, by manufacturer and category. All of those take some steps though. The easiest way is to just hit search and type in a portion of the name. So I'll type in oil and enter, and everything that has the word oil in it will appear. So then I can choose what I want, like my Moroccan oil treatment, 0.85 ounce. Put in my quantity, how many they're buying. If it's just one, fine. And who made the sale. And so now I'm selling that product. So I can look it up several different ways. If it's in the system, you're going to be able to find it. When a product is in the system, there are other things that you can do with it. So here's my Just an All-in-One shampoo. Not that you do shampoos, but I'm just going to use this as an example. So here I am in inventory, and these are some of the features. Notice this one here says sell online. If it's gray, I can't sell this product online. If it's blue, I can. It's now going to be available for my online sales. Also, I can put in a description for my online sales, just a name description here, and then the long product description can have whatever you want in it. It can give a lot more information. Could be something like don't use on skin that has been shaved in the last 24 hours or something like that. So my product description is just the name, just an all-in-one shampoo, and then my long description might say something like, the Just an All-in-One shampoo allows you to use a single product every other day to reduce the detergent impact on damaged hair. Again, you write whatever you want. So those would show up when a customer looks to purchase this product online. Also, we have something called the Buy Again feature, which is part of Darcy, which we talked about earlier. But I just want to very quickly go over this again because it's part of your inventory. You don't have to use Buy Again on any products, or you can just use it on a handful of products, maybe just your slow-moving products, or you can put it on every product. It's entirely up to you. But the way it works is you get to choose from 1 to 52 weeks, I said 5 weeks, and then write your email, whatever you want it to say. So how does it work? Let's say that this is a 20-ounce bottle of shampoo, and let's say that I tell my customers to use 2 ounces of it every other day. Well, if they do that, then in 20 days or 3 weeks, it should be empty. So I set this for 5 weeks only because I don't want to be that guy that honks the horn the second the light turns green. So what I'm saying is if a customer walks through my door and they buy this product and 5 whole weeks have gone by and they have not returned to buy it again, they'll get this email. And in this case, it says your Just an All-in-One shampoo is running low. And the body, if you've been using the shampoo like we told you, then you should notice that you're either out or running low. Please print this email out and bring it in with you for 5% off your next purchase within 30 days. Again, that's what I wrote. You write whatever you want, but what the idea, the concept is, go ahead.
If they would have come in to purchase that in the meantime, would that email not go out at that point, or would
not go out? It would not go out.
So it will attach that purchase to that client, and then this email will not send if they've already purchased it.
That's exactly right. If they purchase it within those 5 weeks, it will not send it out. However, if at the end of 5 weeks they have not purchased it again, then it will send the email out. However, there is another caveat, and that is the category. If the customer came in within those 5 weeks, so they bought the Just an All-in-One shampoo, let's say 3 weeks ago, and then after 3 weeks it did run out. So they came in because their shampoo ran out, so they came in and they bought a different shampoo. It won't send this out. If they buy something within the same category, so obviously that applies to this product, or the same category, then it will reset the clock. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. Okay, so now with inventory, by the way, other things that you're able to do is view your activity. The activity shows you everything going on with this product. So right now I've got it on all. If I say received only, it will show me just the purchase orders that have been created and received with this product on it. If I say sales, it will show me every sale I made of this product. If I'm using password protection, it'll even tell me who made the sale. If not, it'll give me a question mark. Returns, any merchandise returns that were done on this product. And if I'm using password protection on returns, it'll even say who the cashier was that did the merchandise return. And then any adjustments. If you did manual adjustments to this product, then that would be listed here as well. In fact, I'm going to do a manual adjustment right now because I'm in the negatives, which that's a preference, by the way. You can tell the software that if it gets to 0, that it cannot sell any more products. This product, if it gets to 0. Or you could say, no. If it gets to 0, but if they walk up to my desk holding a bottle, that means I did my count wrong. I still want to be able to sell it to them, so you allow it to go negative. It's totally up to you whether you want to do that. But I want to change this from negative to say that I have 35. So that's going to change my adjusted and save. So now if I looked at that again, my adjustment will be reflected. And there it is on February 22nd, 2018.
That's showing how many
by
are
55.
in stock.
No, this doesn't. This does. The ending quantity on hand.
The 35. Okay, that's
right.
Quantity. Okay, got it.
Ending quantity on hand. That's right. This is your beginning quantity, what you started with. These are things that you've received. These are sales. These are merchandise returns. This, if you did a manual adjustment like I just did, this reflects every manual adjustment number, totals it up, and my ending quantity right now is 35. This is my vendor who I buy it from, what the cost is. If they give you a discount, if you buy it in bulk, you can put in the discount price and the bulk number. You don't have to use those. Order in quantities of how many you want to order at one time. You can order 1, 2, 3. If you put a 0 or a 1 in here, you can order it in any quantity you want. But if you put in something like a 3, then you could only order 3 or 6 or 9. In other words, multiples of 3. If you put a 5 in here, you could only order 5 or 10 or 15, multiples of 5. Why would you ever do that? Well, because maybe your vendor doesn't sell you a bottle of Just an All-in-One shampoo. They only sell to you packs of 5. Well, if that's the case, then you would put a 5 here. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. If your vendor recognizes what this is by name, then you don't need a vendor order number, because when you create your purchase order, it'll have, I need 8 Just an All-in-One shampoos, or I need 12 Just an All-in-One shampoos. And the vendor's good with that, fine. But maybe they're not. Maybe they say, you know what, we sell the Just an All-in-One shampoo in 3 different sizes. Those are all 3 different prices, 3 different SKUs, etc. So what you would need in that case, first of all, I would put the size in here, like Just an All-in-One shampoo, 20 ounce. So again, that'll help your vendor. But also you can use their SKU number right here, and that can be used in their purchase order. So if the vendor requires their SKU number be used in the PO, make sure you have their vendor order number here. If they don't care, if they can go by name, then you don't need that. You can just go with the name. Don't worry about last ordered or on PO. Those fill themselves in when you do a purchase order for it and the date. And then these numbers, the beginning number is the only thing you need to put in. When you do your first count, when you're adding this product to the software, you say, this is how many I actually have right now. Type in that number and hit enter. And when you do that, it'll put that number in the ending quantity on hand as well. All of these will be 0. But now as you start selling the product, accepting the product back, using the product, doing purchase orders for it, these numbers will automatically adjust themselves. So inventory is very, very powerful, and it works beautifully through the software. And of course, in reports, you've got lots of different inventory reports that you can run, not just sales. Okay?
Yes, great.
Okay, that's not annoying. Sorry, there was a horn going off behind me. I apologize. Okay, so I'm about to go to commissions. Do you have any questions for me on inventory?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think that was really, really good. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so let's go ahead then and take a look at commissions. Now, the thing that you want to remember about commissions is that everyone does commissions a little bit differently. And I don't mean just for different employees. I mean business to business. They do them differently. So what we've done is we've tried to incorporate the most common methods of commission. So we have 3 distinct versions of commission in here. We have sliding scale commissions, where people make different percentages based on the amount that they sold. And then we also have standard rate commissions, which is just a standard percentage on services or product. And then we have dollar amount commissions. So I'm going to show you those real quick here. I'm going to go to payroll, and I'm going to go to employees. The first thing I would do is I would add my employees. I've already added 9 of them, so they're in there right now. I know 9 because my next employee number is 10. Once my employees are in the system, then I can start setting up my commissions. Employees, commission schedules. This would be for sliding scale. So I could go to sliding commissions and modify or create tables. So I can choose an employee, whoever I want, like Ashley Smith here, choose if they're an operator as well, because by the way, the person getting the commission may not be an actual provider. You may be giving commission to a cashier that doesn't provide any services. But be that as it may, you choose your employee. If they're an operator, you choose their operator name. Then you have 6 different levels just for services. So I said, in this case, from $0 to $250, she gets 20% on service sales. From $250 and a penny to $750, she gets 30%. From $750 and a penny to $1,500, she gets 40%. And I could do 3 more scales as well. That's just the way I set it up. You set it up any way you want if you want to do sliding scale. You can do the same thing for retail.
Does that reset monthly? Like, what is those services?
It never resets. It never resets. It's based on the date range that you pull the report up for. So you say, I want my sliding scale report for Alicia for last week. or from let's say February 19th to February 26th, something like that. Whatever date range you put in, that's where it's going to apply these numbers. So when you run the sliding scale report, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, so that's for the report. But for her actual service sales, it's just cumulative. So basically longevity will speak for itself. Her ability to bring in new clientele will speak for itself.
Yeah, and I'll show you areas where you can look at that as well. Yeah, I'll show you where you can look at that information as well. But for our purposes right now, this is a sliding scale, and it's going to be based on whatever date range you put in when you run the sliding scale report. Okay? And then we'll get into some of those other things that we were just talking about.
Like a payroll period then.
Yeah, that would be a great way to think of it. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so then I can also go to commission rates and go to, for instance, my service rates. And I can choose a specific person, or I could do this for everybody blanketly. But let's say I went with a specific person like Ashley here. And I choose a specific service, and I say for acrylic tips full, she gets 50%, and I accept that. And then maybe I choose something different, like blow dry and curl. She gets 45% and accept that. I can also just do it blanketly. I could have just gone here and say all services. For all services, she gets 45% and accept. Now she's getting 45% on every service. No matter what I choose, it's 45%. But I can then make individual changes. So let's say you've got 100 different services that you offer, and she gets 45% on 95 of them. Well, you don't want to have to go through all 145, 45, 40, just because some of them are different. No, you would say 45% on all 100. Then you would go into those 5 and change them to 50%. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So we'll go ahead and accept that. So that is creating a percentage rather than a sliding scale. Now you're just saying that however much they do, they get this percentage. Then we get to employees, and we go to commission rates again, and this time it's going to be by dollar amount. This one's a little bit different. It's kind of like percentage, but not quite. Let's say that I went with Ashley here, and I said that when Ashley does a chest wax, which is $50, she gets $25. Now that would be 50%, right? We can do the math easy. That would be 50%. That's fine. But what if, let me go ahead and save that. What if you raised your prices there at your location? And maybe the reason you raised your location has nothing to do with Ashley. You raised your prices because your rent went up, or your insurance costs went up, or your electricity bill went up. It's got nothing to do with Ashley. So now you say, okay, I'm going to have to change my chest wax to $55 instead of $50. Well, if it was set as a percentage for Ashley of 50%, then she just got a raise. The amount that you owe her instead of $25 would now be $27.50 if you were doing it by percentage. By doing it by dollar amount, then she still has $25, even though this is now $55. So a lot of consultants today are suggesting that businesses change it to dollar amount. That way you can raise your prices without automatically giving your staff a raise, which is the way it is if you just put them on a percentage. Having said that, the majority of spas and salons in the beauty industry still go with straight percentages rather than a dollar amount. But more and more are switching over to dollar amount, which is why it's in our system. So those are the 3 different ways that you can create commissions: sliding scale, standard rate percentages, or dollar amounts. 3 different ways to do it. Make sense?
Yes, that's great.
All right, now let's take a look at how that actually works. I'm going to pull up a customer here. We'll go with James, doesn't matter. And I'm going to say that he saw, let's go with somebody let's go with Ashley. He saw Ashley, and he got a French manicure. Why not? That seems a little weird for James, but what the heck. All right. Who am I to say what James wants, right? Okay, so now I'm also going to say that James is buying the Justin All-in-One shampoo, and he is buying that from Ashley. I'm also going to say that he gave a tip to Ashley, say $10. So this is an all Ashley ticket. Go to payment, he pays cash, accept, done. Now, let me just take a quick peek here in commissions, and let me just make sure that I set up Ashley for all of those different things. Sliding scale, Ashley, good. I've got something there for her sliding scale. Schedules, sliding, whoops, that was one I just did. Ashley, yeah, she's got there. And finally, my dollar amounts. Oh, I just did that, so I know that some of those have it. And finally, my category of retail rates. And I will say for Ashley, there we go. All categories, sure, 12%, why not? Okay, so let's take a look. There are lots of different commission reports because they're all based on whatever different types of commissions you want to run. So I go to, whoops, not payroll, I go to reports, and I go to sales, and I go to my operator reports, and I go all the way down here to the bottom where it says commission reports. And then here are all of my different types of commission reports. And they're going to give you different information based on what type of commission you've created. So for instance, if I was strictly on dollar amount, then my commission sales analysis wouldn't do anything for me because that's not a dollar amount report. This one is, so I could do this one and see my dollar amounts on this one. But I'm going to go here because I set her up on all three, so I know this one will work. And I can choose everybody, or I could just choose Ashley. And then I can put in my date range, my pay period as you suggested. But I'm not, I'm just going to do it for today. Put in my date range, hit view report, because I don't want it to just print out. I want to actually look at it and accept that. So let's take a look at this report together. This is my Bella Renaissance report, commission sales analysis, all registers for the period from February 22nd to February 22nd for operator Ashley. This is my transaction number, the date, the client name, any services that were offered, the quantities, the hours, the prices, any discounts that were applied, the amount after quantity and discounts are applied, and then the commission. So $25, 45% commission, he gets $11.25. Total for all services, $11.25. Products sold. Here's my Justin All-in-One, sold one of those for $21. He gets 12%, that's $2.52. So then I have my subtotals for all products, $2.52, and my totals for products and services, $13.77. That's the combination of what he made in services and what he made in products. Then I have my tips received, and the client tip, $10. Total per commission on products, services, and tips, $23.77. That's just one of many reports. So as you can see, the information is there based on what you set up. Make sense?
So would that be the report that you print out to give them with their paycheck? You give them a date range?
I mean, you could. I would use this to create their payroll, but I wouldn't necessarily give it to them with their payroll. And the reason for that is because this isn't going to show any of the taxes that you've taken out. So if their commission says $700 and they get a check for, $480, you're like, what the heck is going on? That usually just creates problems. Now, if they understand that their commission report is going to be very different than their paycheck because their paycheck has their, their FICA and their SIT and their, standard taxes, state and federal, et cetera. Obviously their paycheck is going to look very different than their commission report. So that might create issues for you. And then again, maybe not. You might say, this is everything you earned, and here's your paycheck based on that. It's just like a pay stub that shows, hey, I got $1,000 earned, and my paycheck is, $720. People understand that.
Right.
So if you're comfortable doing that, sure, but it's not necessarily made for that. What you would do normally is print out a report like this and give it to your accountant or your Paychex or your ACV, whatever company you use, unless you're doing it in-house. But this is the information that you'll have to be able to plug in to actually create their payroll. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And of course, you can do that in combination with their hours. So you could say, for instance, let me go ahead and clock in. So number one, enter. Devin Rosenthal is clocking in at 1:30 and clock. Perfect. A few hours go by, maybe it's time for lunch, or maybe he doesn't check out for lunch. It's at the end of the day. He's going to check out now, puts in his number, and now it says clock out, and it shows the hours that he was here. Now, on your end, when it's time for payroll, we can go to payroll here, and we can go to time clock, and I can print a time clock report. I can put in my date range, and I can do it for everybody, or I can do it for a specific person like Devin Rosenthal. And I can print out his time clock report showing all the hours that he worked for a particular date range. I can also, though, let's say that you and Devin walked in together at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you unlocked the door, and he followed you in right in, and you both were holding your coffee, and you got to work. Great. Now, 5 o'clock comes rolling around, and Devin's going to leave for the day. And he walks up to the computer, and he goes to clock out, and he puts in his number, and when he does, it says he's clocking in. And this is 5 o'clock. He's about to leave. And he says, oh my God, I forgot to clock in this morning. That's why it's telling him to clock in, because he never clocked in the morning. So it can't tell him to clock out, because as far as the software is concerned, he never came in. Does that make sense? So he runs over to you and he says, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Don, but you saw me. I walked in with you this morning. I just forgot to clock in. Okay. So we go to payroll, and we go to time clock, and we go to adjust. And so I can choose somebody, and I can put in a brand new in and out time for a specific date. That way my numbers, when I run them for the reporting for the payroll period, are going to be accurate. Now, of course, you can password protect that, but I just want you to be aware that it's flexible that way. People clock in, they clock out, and if there's a mistake, you can adjust it. Okay?
So could an hourly wage be added to their payroll report, that commission report? Is there a way to...
It's not going to be on that report, but yes, you can run that report, and you can run an hourly report. So you'll have two reports then in that case.
Okay.
But you'll have them. I mean, certainly the software does that.
Right.
It's just they're not both on the same report. That's all I'm saying. There's over 300 different reports in the software. What you're looking for is going to be in there more than likely. But no, unfortunately, that's not on a single report. Okay?
Yep, got it.
All right. And whenever you create an employee in payroll, it assigns them a number. And that's the number that they're going to use to clock in and clock out with if you're going to use the time clock, which you don't have to, but you certainly can. Okay. That's commissions, and that was inventory. And so that was what we were scheduled to go over today. Do you have any questions for me on anything we've covered today?
No, not on what we've covered today. I have some general questions.
Go ahead.
But before I get to those, I just wanted to make sure I recall this entire bar here. So sales, is that a report button on the left right here?
I'm not sure.
Blue boxes.
Okay.
Blue boxes. The
right.
left one says sales. What is that tab for?
That opens up the point of sale register.
Oh, that's the point of sale.
This is your cash register.
Got it. Okay, so that's the cash register. Book is the appointment book. Client,
that's right.
Client info.
Pulling up the client, that's right.
Okay. And then inventory management, and then the Darcy marketing. Which tab, what is the messages?
Okay, the messages is only going to work. Now, when I click on messages, it's going to give me an ad for our paired app. And the reason that it does that is because messages only works if you have the paired app. With the paired app, your customers and you can speak back and forth right through the software and their smartphone in replace of texting. It replaces texting. By doing that, you don't have to worry about any kind of issues like, hey, I didn't ask for this text. If they downloaded your app, they have given you the right to speak to them, and they can speak directly to you as well. So it's just like texting, but it's directly through your business's app through Pro Solution software.
Okay, and so those messages could be typed directly on the screen and sent that
That's right. Yep.
Okay, got it. And then we've got reports and then payroll. What is the online button?
This is the one that sets up, creates the web pages for you so that your appointments can book appointments online or purchase gift certificates online or purchase retail products online.
Got it. So that's the online booking and online sales.
Okay, so that button allows you to create those web pages. That's right. And of course, you're trained in all of that.
Okay. That answers that. So I'm pretty confident that I understand all of those. So I do have a few questions that I jotted down for you.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Let me find my sheet. Okay. Does the software store client photographs, like before and after pictures?
It certainly can. Let me go ahead and pull up a customer here. As you can see, I've got a photograph here. The way that's done is when you take a picture of your customer, whether it's with a digital camera or a webcam, or heck, with a Polaroid and a scanner, however you get that picture into your computer, that picture must be saved into what's called the pictures folder, okay? From that point forward, you're able then to click on my little camera here. All of the pictures that are in that folder will be here, and you can upload them. So maybe this is Michelle Babcock, which is a very different person than this one here, but let's do it. And let's make this our primary image. And we'll accept that. Oh, great. I put in you have to put in the proper format of the name, and you would be taught how to do that, of course. So let me go ahead and I should have known that immediately. I looked at it and I said to myself, you know what, that name looks a little bit long, but let me explain that to you. And of course, you would have been taught this. So in the clients, when we click here and we choose the picture that we want to upload, and therefore, by the way, you could have multiple pictures of their skin or something like that. So you could have session 1, session 2, session 3 for that client. Then the picture name itself, this is a very long name, Haley Headshot 4 - copy. That's not going to fly. It's got to be a single term. It's got to be a single word, and something like Haley. And I don't know if mine is actually set up, so this may or may not work. But let's just go with Haley Blonde. And in fact, I'm going to go with Haley. Make that my primary, and let's see if that works. So I didn't screw that up. Yeah. There we go. Okay. And we made it our primary, and there it is. So,
okay, so
I've added a picture to her client file, and I could have taken a picture of her skin, saved it as Babcock session 1, Babcock session 2, Babcock session 3. And so then when I add them, I can scroll through them then. They will all be listed here. All the ones that I've added will be listed. So I can choose it, and I can look at session 1. I can look at session 2. I can look at session 3. Does that make sense?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep, that does answer my question. So basically, I would be storing them in folders in my computer, and then uploading them
and then
software,
uploading them
but
into the system.
And then that I would
upload. Some people want it to just be automatic.
Specifically, I would upload them into her client sheet so that I could pull from those photos. Is that right?
That's right.
For her specifically? Okay.
That's right.
Is there a limit to the pictures that I can store?
100.
Not that I have a ton.
100 per client.
Per client. Okay. 100 per client. Great. Okay.
As far as the limit on your computer, that's based on how much memory you have. So could be millions.
Right.
But yeah, 100 per client. I can't imagine that anyone would ever need that many pictures.
No, I don't think so. So, okay. Talk to me about the merchant account.
Okay. Well, if you want to process credit cards directly through the software, then you're going to get a credit card, a merchant ID from our preferred provider. Now, our current preferred provider is Vantiv. I say current, we're not leaving them, but we are coming out with a new gateway that is going to allow for significantly more. It will allow for WorldPay, Vantiv, Heartland, First Data, TSYS, and one other. I forget what it is. I apologize. But right now, Vantiv is your only option. Once we have that new gateway out, then you'll be able to choose from those other companies that I just described. But the point is when you get your merchant ID, if you're doing a sale, let's go with Chris here, and I go to payment. If I choose credit card as my method of payment, if I'm using the preferred provider, it's going to look like this, and you're going to have a chip reader machine that's connected to your computer via USB. So you've got this here, and if I click on this button, it would ask me to stick the card into the chip reader. Now I don't have mine set up, so I'm just going to get an error, so I'm not going to do that. But you would stick your card into the chip reader, and your authorization would show up right here. And then they would get their receipt either emailed to them or printed based on what their preference was. If you are not using our preferred provider,
it does accept chip cards then.
Oh yeah,
does it accept
absolutely.
Like Apple Pay, things like that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And swipes, obviously, I'm sure.
Yes.
And then, do you know the pricing on the merchant transactions through the
You mean what the rates are?
Yeah.
Okay. We do not set the rates. Neither. The way it works is this. I can't tell you what the rates are, but I can tell you that you probably already know what they are. If you currently accept credit cards, then our agreement with Vantiv, and it may be different when we come out with the other gateway for other companies, but currently our agreement with Vantiv, and it's certainly the same agreement that we would try to get with everybody else, is they match your current rates. So if you're already accepting credit cards, they would want a current statement from you so that they will match your rates. Now, if you're being gouged by the company that you're currently with, I mean, they're really overdoing it, then Vantiv will reduce your rates. However, they're not trying to get into a rate war here. If your rates are competitive, even if they could be reduced a little bit, if they are competitive rates, Vantiv's just going to match your rates. So whatever your current rates are, that's what you should get through Vantiv as well. And more than likely with any of the other companies once we have that gateway out. And by the way, we expect to have that gateway out within the next 2 months. So it's coming very rapidly. In fact, it's done. It's just being beta tested right now. So it's not offered to the general public yet, but it will be soon. So there's that. If you decided, you know what, I don't want to go with your preferred provider. I want to go with my own company, and it's not one of the other ones you offer either, so I'm not going to wait. That's fine. It just looks like this instead. So instead of processing directly through the software, you're going to process through a terminal outside of the software with whoever that other company is, but you're still in the software going to keep track of the fact that it was a credit card sale and what type of card was used, the amount, et cetera. That way your reporting is accurate. And you can reconcile your software reports with your terminal report. Obviously, if you're using our preferred provider through the software, there's nothing to reconcile. It's all one base. So think of that as well. Also, if and when you decide to set up your online store, and so now you are booking appointments online, selling gift certificates online, selling retail online, then you're going to need what's called an online merchant ID. You don't need it for appointments, but you need it for gift certificates and retail. You get an online merchant ID, you create what's called an authorized.net account. We show you all of this. And then your customers will be able to buy your gift certificates or buy your product using their credit cards online through your web pages. And you can get that online merchant ID from Vantiv, or you can get it from any company. So if you chose a different company, but the difference is, and this is the important part that you need to remember, you have to get an online merchant ID. That is different than your brick and mortar ID. The credit card companies do not allow online credit card sales using a brick and mortar ID. Some old systems, somebody will buy something online and it will email the credit card information to the business. The business then plugs that into their brick and mortar ID to charge the client. That's not allowed. Some companies actually do that because it was allowed years and years ago, and some companies have not got. But if it is determined that you are doing that, the credit card companies can actually ban you for up to 10 years from using their credit card. In other words, from accepting Visa or accepting MasterCard or accepting American Express. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I lost my ability to accept Visa, it would really hurt my business.
Oh, so, yeah, no question.
Yeah, so you definitely need to get an online merchant ID. And why do they separate them? It's a little bit cynical of me to say, but they're separating them so they can make more money. By separating them, they get to charge a different rate for online purchases. And their excuse is that when purchases are made online, there is a higher rate of fraud than when purchases are made in person using the physical card. And yeah, they're right about that. But it's terrible the way the credit card companies are already doing their rates as it is. The fact that they're then going to throw an extra layer of rates on just because you're doing online sales kind of annoys me, but it is what it is. I'm a little cynical when it comes to that, but that's the way it works, and
Right.
it's got nothing to do with us. That's just the way of the credit card world.
Right. Well, I'm just
any
wondering
other
if it's
questions I can help you
more
with?
cost effective to use, like, to accept PayPal instead of going through the whole, I don't know. I was just curious about that, but I can figure that out. I do have another question, and this is because I just barely ran into this with my software and it was such a pain.
Sure.
I did a cleanse event at the beginning of the year, and so I put together these kit bundles where I bundled together some different products, and then, depending on which tier of kit bundle they purchased, they had different discounts attached to that. And so really the way I know how I calculated the discount, but really, like, the middle kit was $130. If they had paid full retail for everything that was in that kit, it would have been $156. So really they were saving $26. When I bundled all those together, for some reason, and I was on with support trying to put these kits together, but it would not just let me say $26 off of this kit. We had to go in and finagle this whole thing to make it even work.
Right, because these are individual products being sold inside of a kit, if I'm not mistaken, each one of the products would have its own discounted price. It's not just I put them all together and they would have been $100 regular price, but I'm going to charge $90. Okay, fine. But it doesn't work quite that way. Each product then would be reduced by 10% individually. That would then total up $90 as the price for the kit. I believe that's the way it is. But certainly technical support.
So I was only able to input like a percentage discount. I couldn't put in a $26 discount. It had to be in percentages. So it took me forever to sit here and try to figure out what that exact percentage was to get what I was putting as the price point for that kit.
Sure, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and you're right. That can be a little bit time consuming and can be a little bit frustrating. But don't forget, one of the things that Pro Solutions Software offers is the ability for us to do your data entry for you. So if you said, hey, Matt, or whoever, I want this kit made. Now, your products are already in your inventory, and you said, I want this kit made and I want it at this price. Or, here's 5 different kits and these are their prices. You send that to us and we can, because you would be in the cloud, we would be able to use a cloud license to get into your software and enter that for you so that the following day or the day after that, I think it's usually 48-hour guaranteed, but 2 days later or less, hopefully, those kits are in there for you. So you didn't have to go through that process. But so we can certainly do that for you to save you some money, but you're right. If you're going to do it yourself, then it's a little bit time consuming. There are a number of steps involved. You're absolutely right.
Okay, so that is kind of just a standard.
Yeah, there's nothing I'm going to do about that regarding the software, but we do try to make our clients' lives a little bit easier by saying we're happy to do it for you.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So my next question would be, what is the process of transferring data over? I haven't done this before.
Okay,
well,
it depends.
I've been with my company for a long time.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I don't even know what the process is, and is there data that's lost in the process?
Well, there could be. It depends on what company you're using. There are certain software companies out there that we have tools that will take all the data. And so you're golden. You're not going to lose anything. There are other companies that they release very limited data, and we can't upload anything that can't be exported. It can't be imported if it can't be exported. So we would need to get that information exported from that software and then imported into ours. You wouldn't do that. You would get the file, the exported file from your software, and you would send that to us. We would then put it in the proper format and upload it into the software for you. So like your client files, with their names, addresses, telephone numbers, emails, things like that. Your inventory files, your gift certificate files, things like that. Now, if you said, I need my appointments as well, I need this, it really is going to depend, especially client history. It really depends on what data you're able to get out of the software company that you're currently using. Now, they may release all the data. They might say, oh, sure, here it is. Here's everything. Then you would give us everything, and we would do what we can to get it in there in a reasonable amount of time. You said you've been with them for years, so depending on how easy it is, export, import, sure. If everything's in the right format, terrific. If it's not in the right format, then things have to be changed. And if they have to be changed individually, and you've got 10,000 files that need to be changed individually, that could take weeks. But I've always said, when you buy Transcend software on day 1, you should expect to be using it on day 30. Don't buy it on day 1 and expect to use it on day 3.
Right.
Not just for the data entry, but also for training and practice and things like that. Before you go live with it, you want to be comfortable with it. So I've always said that,
right.
Day 1 to day 30.
Got it. Well, I really don't think mine would be that challenging. I don't have a ton of people in there. I just have a few loyal clients, and I've been kind of flying under the radar just with my stage of life and some things I've had on my plate. But I'm in the process of setting up my website, and I want to kind of get things situated before, before I blow this up, because I feel like the more deeply embedded it is, the harder it's going to be to switch. So
absolutely, always is.
I feel like if I'm going to make a switch, it kind of needs to be sooner than later. I feel like.
Sure. Makes perfect sense, and we'll help you with that. And look, you don't commit yourself to a particular date frame. You might say, okay, I've committed to going with Transcend, so I'm going to go ahead and make the purchase, and immediately after that, we're going to start doing training, and I'm going to get them my data as quickly as I can. If you can get it the same day that you make the purchase, fantastic. The quicker you can get us the data, the quicker we can get your software set up for you. We'll also teach you how to put the data in yourself as far as individually. So that you can, if you ever make changes, you need to do that. You're not going to be uploading from your old software a year from now. If you need to add a new customer or add a new service or change prices or add a new product, you still want to learn how to do that data entry individually. So all of those things are going to be taught to you. And then, of course, the basics, how to book appointments, how to process sales, how, run which reports you should be running, things like that, how to set up your online services, how to set up your app for your clients or for your staff. All of those things are taught to you. And so you might say, I'm going to stick with my other software I'm going to commit to that other software for 2 months. I'm going to throw that out there. So I'm going to use this other software for 2 months, but I'm going to buy the Transcend today, and I'm going to spend the next 2 months getting it all set up properly, practicing with it, being ready to go, so that on day 60, I'm comfortable, I'm going. But again, I normally say 30 days, but it doesn't matter. It's up to you. On the day that you feel I'm ready to go, then we're ready to go. And hopefully all of that is taken care of for you. Now, you might have to catch up a little bit. You've been booking appointments in the other software. Hopefully you've learned, that was one of the first things you'd learn, is how to book appointments, and you get your client file in there. So then you can just move appointments from one to another when you are booking them individually. However, we may be able to get all of your future appointments in that you're already have in the software into the system. Again, based on what data they actually export. If not, you may manually enter them in from your other software after you're taught how to do that. So there's lots of different ways to do it. But in the end, when you buy our software, expect to spend some time learning and data entry and practicing before you go live with it. Look, you could go from garbage to great, and it's still going to feel difficult in the beginning because you're used to doing things a certain way. And now it's changed.
Yeah, it's the methodology, the process, the order. Yeah. For sure.
Exactly. So there's definitely a learning curve, no matter, even if you're leaving a lousy product for a great product, there's a learning curve. And if you're leaving a great product for a great product, there's a learning curve. It just doesn't matter. No matter what you're leaving, no matter how good the product is you're going to, there's a learning curve. And you just have to kind of build that into your time frame.
Got it. So can I set up like a test client in there to be able to practice on appointments?
Of course.
And running through the register and things like that?
Yep, absolutely. Okay. You can create a Jane Doe or a John Smith or a miscellaneous customer, that could actually be their name. Miscellaneous is their first name, customer is their last name. It doesn't matter. The system doesn't care what their name is. And so you can certainly do that, and you can go crazy with it. Book appointments, unbook appointments, reschedule appointments, process sales, give discounts, create coupons, do all of that, and to practice, to play with. Absolutely.
Got it. And then I just thought of this. Would my client rewards, does it just depend? Do those kind of get lost in the shuffle if I transfer a client over that has rewards? Like if they
so you have like a points program right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, it's all about what data is going to be exported from your current system. If they will export the points that your people have, then we can determine how those points would work with our points system and then convert it. So let's say, for instance, that you said, I don't know, your current point program says that if they have 10 points, they get this free $50 service. Okay, I'm just making this up. Well, then that basically means that each point is worth $5. If they had 10 points, they could get this $50 service for free, right? So then we would do something like that where we would say, okay, we're going to make sure that now ours doesn't go lower like that, it goes higher. So if by their 10 points equaled $50, then we might say that 500 points equals $50. So coming from your side, 10 points, each point would equal 50 points. So then when we convert it, that customer who had 10 points, which was worth $50, now has 500 points, but those are worth $50. In other words, their points still relate to the value. The value will still be accurate, right, even if the actual point amount has to change. And I'm not saying that it has to. It just depends on what your point structure is.
Well, mine is basically set up. It's exactly what you showed the first time. It's 1 point equals $1. When they accrue 200 points, they receive a $10 reward. So basically, it's a 5%.
Yeah, so that's really simple. Okay, so the way our system works,
they accumulate through purchases and treatments, and then they can redeem on the purchase of products only.
Only products? Okay. Okay. Our software does that as well, so no problem there. And it would be really simple. You would be able to say that $1 equals a point. So when they spend $1 with you on certain things, whatever you've determined those things are, if they spend the $1, they get the point. So once they have spent $200, they'll have 200 points. And then we create our redemption value. If our redemption value is 20 to 1, that would mean that 200 points would equal a $10 value, which could be applied to, for instance, only retail.
Okay.
So you can certainly do it. Absolutely. The way you just described, our software will handle that without any difficulty.
Right. Okay. Because I saw you walk through that, and it seems like on this software, I can actually get a lot more diverse and savvy with some of these.
Oh, you can do a lot more than just points with the loyalty program. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a really nice loyalty program, and you can create different types of loyalty programs too. You could have, I remember when we mentioned it, the bronze, silver, and gold. All three of them could be collecting points differently. They could be spending points differently. They can be earning services or earning services differently, etc. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot more flexibility involved. You can give automatic discounts because you're a gold member, but no discounts because you're a bronze member. I'm just making up the names gold and bronze, by the way. You can call it anything you want. But yeah, it's a lot. It's really flexible. What happened was this. We created a loyalty points program that was really nice. It was, robust. It did a lot of things. It was great. And then we were having people contact us and say, have you heard of the Massage Envy points program? They earn services, and this is the way they earn services. And so we were like, okay. So we simply, instead of replacing our points program with the the Massage Envy program, we took this Massage Envy program and combined it with ours. So it was actually added to it. So then it just became additional abilities rather than, okay, now we don't have the Transcend one anymore. Now we have the Massage Envy one. Instead, now it's combined, so it does both and more. So it's pretty cool.
Got it. Yeah, that is cool. Okay. The last thing that I think would just be my big question is, and I know we touched on this,
Go ahead.
is training. I know it comes with training. I know I have resources to look things up and whatnot. But what I can't remember, is there a spot that I could go just to see all of the capabilities of the software? Because I feel like it has capabilities to do a lot of things, but I probably won't have an idea of everything that it can do. And so I feel like at some point I would be missing out on some features or implementation that I don't even know about. Is there kind of a
okay, so there's different ways to address
online?
that. Yeah, there's different ways to address that. One of those is, of course, our website. This is probably the best way. On the website, we've got, if I go to support, I've got how-to guides and I've got training videos, training classes, and I've got training videos. So that's going to help you quite a bit. You can look through the videos and you'll see things, learn things that you may not have known before. You can also sign up for classes. We have a beginner's class that just covers the basics, how to book appointments, how to process sales, how to close your drawer. But we also then have an advanced class, which goes over items that most people who have been using the software successfully already are not familiar with. And then we have a training class on all the features that Darcy handles and does. Then we have, and marketing. Then we have a class on how to set up your online store and how to use that. And we do classes on the Paired app as well. So there are classes available for that you can sign up for every week. And you can sign up for them as often as you like. You can also simply say, I want to learn everything there is to know about inventory. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to book an hour of Matt's time. Training and technical support is always free during our regular business hours. So you could say, look, I know you covered a little bit of inventory, but I want to get in depth. I want to spend an hour just on inventory. So Matt, let's book an hour and focus on inventory. Or Matt, I just want to focus on marketing. You know, let's book out an hour. We're going to focus on marketing and ask all the questions and I can show you all the different things it can do, et cetera, or other trainers can, et cetera. So there's different ways to go about it like that. There's also the simple, I wonder if, and again, through our website or right through the software, you could just go to support, and in 15 seconds after clicking this, you're going to be speaking to a live human being. In fact, let's go ahead and do it. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and boom, 6 seconds. Okay, this is Matt doing a training. Please say hello to Dawn and I will leave you alone. Exclamation point, enter. Okay, so you have a question and but you know, it's not necessarily there's something wrong with the software or I'm doing this wrong or I'm not sure how to do this. You might simply say, I wonder if the software does this. Well, you could call in our 800 number, and we have an average hold time of 9 minutes. But with the live chat, you have an average hold time of 15 seconds. And so just ask the question, hey, can you tell me if the software does this? Hello, Don and Matthew. Have yourselves a great day. And close.
Great. Okay.
And by the way, I can email this to myself as well. Go ahead.
Oh, nice. Once the chat's over, you can email the
yes.
The conversation.
The chat log. Yep. The whole conversation will be emailed right to you.
So it sounds like on the classes that are set up under support, that those are going to cover all of the capabilities. If I want to get more in depth,
I wouldn't say that.
Specific,
yeah, I would say that it's going to cover all of the general features of the software. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then if I want to dial down on something really specific, then I could
just schedule some training time. Yep.
Okay.
You can either schedule training time if you think it's going to be, you know, lengthy. Like I said, if you said, hey, I wonder how to change the price on a product, that's exactly the kind of thing you would go to that support link for, because they're going to give you a quick answer. They're going to give you the steps, done. If you wanted to call us, you could do that too, and we'll take care of it that way. But if you said, I want to learn all about inventory, that is not the kind of question you would ask through chat. You would schedule a training instead. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep, it does. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I mean, there's not an online manual that I can sift through to go, oh,
there's videos, but not a manual. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think the only other thing that I have questions on is the app, because I know that wasn't part of this training specifically. And just the capabilities of the app and how it interfaces with the software. Would that be a separate training call?
I tell you what, let me do this, Dawn. I've got your email address. Let me email you 2 links to little videos, YouTube videos. One of those links describes the staff portion of the app, and the other video describes the client portion of the app. Let me send that to you. I think that that's going to answer a lot of your questions, but it might generate others. After you've viewed it, send me an email with any questions that you have on it, or we could schedule additional time like this to go over the app. But I think that those videos would be the best place to start.
Sure. No, definitely. I think they would. Okay. And lastly, as far as point of sale, so would I need to replace all of my point of sale equipment then that I'm currently using?
Not necessarily, no. For instance, cash drawers, receipt printers, barcode scanners, things like that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. There's a very good chance, I would say probably more than likely, that the hardware that you currently have will work just fine with our software. Our software works with most point of sale hardware. So chances are you won't have to change anything. However, credit card, yeah, you're going to have to change your credit card machine, almost guaranteed.
In fact, I don't even have a credit card machine right now. I only have a swiper that's attached. In fact, my swiper stopped working about a month ago, so I'm having to manually key everything in, and it's
then you're paying a higher rate for that.
Charging me more. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I'm paying more. So it's kind of a pain right now, but I don't actually have a credit card processor anyway. I just have the swiper that's just attached.
Okay. So, all right. Well, yeah. So other than that, though, the hardware that you have will probably work with our software. I can't guarantee it. The only things that we guarantee are the things that we sell. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to work. And our technicians are here to help you make those work. And if they can, they will.
So I could keep going with those as long as they're working, and until something breaks, and then replace it at that time with.
Absolutely. And you can replace. Yeah, you could either buy it from us, or if the part that you had, let's say it's a cash drawer, if that was working just fine, or a receipt printer, it was working, and now it doesn't work because that physical machine is broken, nothing would stop you from purchasing the same model from somebody else. Going to eBay, looking for a used deal, whatever. As long as it's the same model that was working before, nothing should stop it from working another time, even though it's a different machine. It's not a different model. So you don't have to buy it from us.
It's already set up in the system. Okay.
Well, you could do that too, yeah.
So what would my next steps be on this?
All right. Has Maureen sent you a proposal? Maureen Long is your salesperson. Has she emailed you a proposal?
No, not yet.
Okay. Then that's the next step. That's the next step. I'm going to have Maureen, I'm going to email you those app videos, and I'm also going to have Maureen contact you to get the information she needs to give you a proper proposal. And she'll email that proposal out to you. You don't have to accept it. There's no obligation to receiving a proposal. But along with that proposal, there will be a button on it that says, click here to accept, something like that. And if you do that, it'll ask you for your credit card information, because then you're placing the order. Or if you said, okay, I need some questions answered on this proposal that I don't understand, or I'm not paying this price, I need, come back to me with something better. Whatever it is, Maureen will work with you until you have the proposal you want. Then you hit the accept button and process the sale. Once you've done that on our end, our computer tells us, hey, somebody just bought your software. And it gives us all of the information that you filled out. We create your account, we send you the email, and we can start setting up your trainings from that point forward.
Okay, and at the point that I were to go and accept the contract, is that now the point where it's going to charge me the monthly fee?
Yeah, but let's say, for instance, on February 3rd, you accepted the contract. Your first charge would be March 1st.
Okay, so it's the first of the next month.
That's right. And I hate doing it to you, but if you bought it on, February 25th, then your purchase would be charged on March 1st. Now, having said that, though, that's not necessarily true, because Maureen, your salesperson, could say, hey, look, you're buying it late in the month. I'm going to move this forward to April 1st. She can do that too. However, there is an upfront installation and setup fee, and that's $99 based on whatever else you're getting. There's that $99. That's charged when you first sign up.
Okay, got it. And so then at the point that that's accepted, it will start on the first of whatever month. That's when the monthly fee will begin hitting my account. Is that right? And then
yep.
I'm now getting the software set up, converting everything over, going through that process of.
And I'll just between you and me, I know that Maureen has, people who have been especially people coming from another software where they need to get data entry out and in, that she's been pretty good about working with them as far as, hey, look, I'll give you a month for free, or I'll give you, a month and a half for free, or whatever it is, to get all of that in before we start charging on the first of the following month. So she does things like that, especially when there's a lot of data coming in from another software, because it may, like I said, if I tell you give it 30 days because we want to get your data in and get your training done and et cetera, that's fine. But if it takes us 21 days just to get your data in, then maybe that's not so fine. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So she'll work with you. She's not going to say, "Oh no, okay. You signed up. You're out of luck. We didn't get your data in, but you're still stuck." We just don't do that. That's not the way we do business.
We're going to play hardball.
That's right. You just became a client of ours, and now we're going to go out of our way to piss you off. Now,
yeah.
It's just, okay, just not something that you need to worry about.
Well, this is great. I really appreciate you taking time to walk through this. I'm actually really impressed with the feature set. I feel like this software definitely is more appointment based. So I feel like some of these features are going to be more robust than what I've had the ability to do with my current software, for my type of business. So
when we won the DIVA Award back in 2013, it was almost exclusively based on the appointment book and the different things that the appointment book can do and how flexible it was. And so that we're very proud of our appointment book.
Well, this has been great. I really appreciate your help walking through this. So I guess at this point, I'll just wait to receive your email on this session that we just went through, as well as the app links that you were going to send to me. And then do I just wait to hear from Maureen and just kind of
I'll tell Maureen
there?
that. Yep, that's exactly right. I'm going to tell her that I finished my final demo with you and that you felt comfortable enough to request a proposal, and for her to contact you to get the information she needs in order to do that. And I'll have her either email you or call you today. And
does that put me on a deadline at that point?
No. Nope. The proposal itself, I believe, is good for like 30 days, but that doesn't mean that it can't just be reissued. There's absolutely no obligation.
Got it. Okay. That's great.
All right. Have a great day, Dawn, and you can expect an email from me shortly with those links.
Great. All right. Thanks, Matt.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.